What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Vosteed Knives Talarurus, Talarurus, however you want to pronounce it. This is one of Vosteed's newer models. It's within the last 4 or 5 knives that they've released, and this is in via, of course, the Lefty passaround group. It's a little package including the Talarurus and the Kubi Knives Interflow, which you guys will probably be seeing in my next upload. But yeah, let's talk about the Talarurus. This was a model that I was super excited to check out when I saw them. Sometimes when you're on their website, shopping around in the new arrivals, or even on like their listed names of their models, you can sometimes find little like Easter eggs, and they'll have knives listed on there. Like I just got on to pull up the information on this, and I just noticed that they had, of course, they have the newer Sight Pop, which is the Tough Knives collaboration with the top liner lock and everything. Everyone was going crazy over that knife. But now they have a mini Sight Pop with a crossbar lock, probably about this size, a little bit smaller, I believe, but roughly this size. And I never knew that they were making it. I hadn't seen them posted on their social media. So that just goes to show that sometimes when you're on their website, kind of shopping around, looking around, you can stumble upon new models that you maybe haven't seen, them post about, or, things like that. And that's how I found this. And I was super intrigued to check it out because I love the blade shape. Overall, it just looked like a knife that I would like to try out and possibly have in my collection. So when I saw Kevin toss this in the Lefty passaround group, I jumped right on it. Super excited to check it out, and I have really enjoyed my time with it. It's a great little knife. It's cut me a few times. Actually, you can still see the mark right there. It's cut me, and right there, it's like same spot on each palm, because I was holding it the wrong way the one time, and I got like too much skin, I guess, up in the knife, and when I dropped it, it came down and just nicked me. So you do have to be aware of that. As it's funny because I have the same wound on both hands. But yeah, we're going to jump right into the review. We'll go over some specs, some materials. You guys know how my stuff works at this point in time. So yeah, we're going to jump right into it. We'll start off with some materials. So this is rocking a 3-inch, well, technically 3.03 inch, so 3-inch blade of 14C28N. They're considering this a modified sheep's foot. I think that this, it has a little bit of a harpoon action going on up there. I think this can also be qualified as a Wharncliffe. No matter how you slice it, this blade shape is right up my alley. I love this type of blade shape with a nice pointy tip up here, thin behind the edge, about medium blade stock thickness, probably leaning towards the thinner side. But again, you have a little bit of a poon spoon going on up there. This does have a thumb disc instead of thumb studs. That's probably my one major complaint about this knife. I'm not a huge fan of the thumb disc. I think from an aesthetic standpoint, which we'll touch on in a minute, it looks okay, but from the usability and accessibility and flickability of the knife, I definitely prefer thumb studs. I just not really a huge fan of the thumb disc, but 14C28N right there. Of course, this is using the crossbar lock from Vosteed, which I think they do a really good job of. I've handled when the Dachshund is like my one perfect, well, how many perfect knives do I have 2 perfect knives? No, so the Dachshund is actually my only perfect knife of the year so far. I should have known that off the top of my head. But they killed the crossbar lock. Obviously, that's, a $225 knife with titanium, and it's a little bit more refined. But I've handled a ton of, crossbar lock style knives from Vosteed, and they all really, do a good job of what they're supposed to do. Of course, this has a loop over style deep carry pot clip that is righty or lefty, which is really nice, which is pretty much a necessity whenever you have an ambidextrous lock like that. You have a little filler tab on whatever side of the knife you are not using it in. Back spacers right there. You have some internal milling on both sides, just 2 little pockets milled out. It's a pretty lightweight knife, of course, from these green micarta scales. Yeah, there's 3 other variations of this knife, so 4 total. So this one, of course, you have the green micarta with the black stonewash and the orange thumb disc. The other one is a just completely blacked out blade, or blacked out model. So it is black micarta, blacked out blade just like this, and a green thumb disc. The third one, which is probably my personal favorite, is a like blue denim micarta, a satin blade, and a satin thumb disc. This looks really good together. And then the last one is a white G10 satin blade and then a blue thumb disc. So some of the models are giving you a nice pop of color on the thumb disc. And I think that's kind of why I like the blue one just so much, is because I really like, the satin with the satin. It just goes together perfectly in my mind. But some quick specs for you guys here. So like I said, blade length is coming in at 3.03 inches. Overall length from tip to butt is 7.18 inches. Blade width is 1.01 inches. Blade thickness of 0.138 inches. Of course, it's 14C28N, like I said. Comes in weighing 3.42 ounces. It honestly feels like it weighs less than that. But that's where those, shadow box or proud liners come into play. They add a little bit of weight there. But yeah, thumb disc material is aluminum if you're, really caring about that type of stuff. But as far as materials go with the Talarurus, easy 5, especially when we talk about price point and everything like that coming into play later on. 14C, crossbar lock, thumb disc is loop ever saw, deep carry clip, micarta, 14C 28N. Excuse me, you can't really beat that. Next up is aesthetic. I'm going to give this a 5 right away. Not really much to talk about, just beautiful design. I love the blade shape. The blade shape really, really speaks to me. You also have that choil up here, which I didn't really mention in the materials segment, but just really nice lines, very simple. It's a smaller knife, which you guys know. I love smaller knives. For some reason, even though I'm a larger human being and have decent sized hands, but the lines on this just really speak to me, and that blade shape is a huge selling point. So easy 5 out of 5. Next up is action. Now, the action I think could be better with thumb studs, but I'm going to try to be objective and take it from a thumb disc standpoint, if that makes any sense. But the detent, as far as crossbar style lock knives go, it's not the stoutest. I've definitely felt stoutier, more stronger detents from crossbar style lock knives. But thumb flick works really well, and the thumb disc works fine. It doesn't work bad in any way you slice it. I just prefer thumb studs. But once you get it down how to kind of place your finger and where you need to manipulate it with the thumb disc, it's not bad. So for thumb flicking, you kind of just I put it right there on the bottom, and it pops right out pretty reliably. Same with the middle or the reverse flick. About the same spot on the other side. Just kind of shove the palm or the pad of your fingertip up in there, and it fires right out. It's not the most, again, not the stoutest detent, not the most, springy spring, I guess, for the crossbar style lock, but it's good. You can slow roll it out, works really good. Now this blade doesn't have any blade play. It's been locked up really tight ever since I've had it, and I've carried it and fidgeted with it quite a bit. And you guys can see that drop just drops home. Very easy to manipulate. I will say, based on how the knife comes down here to a point, it doesn't give you the best traction, because you guys know, if you've handled axis style locks, crossbar locks, those types of knives out there, a lot of times you kind of just stand it straight up and down, and that's where I came in and cut myself, because I just had too much skin up in there. But you just kind of put pressure down on your palm, and this honestly does slide a little bit. It's not it's not easy to grip onto at first. You kind of have to learn how to manipulate it, but you can do it lefty, of course, middle finger flick lefty, thumb flick lefty, slow roll lefty. The drop is good. It's very, very smooth, very solid. It's on bearings, of course. So I really have no complaints with the action. However, I'm going to knock it half a point for the combination of the thumb disc. I'm just not a big fan of it, and I don't want to give it a perfect score, because it's, I'm trying to be objective, but I don't want to not knock the knife on things that I don't like about it. So I'm going to take half a point for the thumb discs instead of it being there instead of thumb studs, and also just the fact that this does slide, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, and just kind of holding onto the knife a little bit. I mean, it's almost like you have more pressure up here than you're used to with crossbar lock knives. So for that, I'm going to give it a 4.5. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys, but I think that's a very fair score for it, because the action is good. There's just two small things that can make it a little bit better. But next up is acoustics. This is a budget micarta knife, so acoustics aren't going to be fantastic. I mean, they're good for what they are. You guys can already probably tell what score I'm going to give this. 3.5 all day in my book. Again, I have to be objective with this because 3.5 for any other category in my review is probably not very good, but for acoustics, I think it's right in the wheelhouse for a lot of ones. I give so many 3.5s and 4s out there. It's just micarta is just such a dampening noise, or a dampening, material for noise, for acoustics, things of that nature. And you're getting that nice thwack, but that's about it. It's not bad by any means, but it's just kind of right in the wheelhouse for what I give. So 3.5 on the acoustics. Next up is ergos. Now this is going to be a very positive section of the review. Choked back, I can still get all 4 fingers on the knife. I'm not even really that squished together. I'm pretty comfortable right here. My thumb's landing right there on the thumb disc. So there's no jimping, but you do have a nice landing area up here before you move way up on here to the harpoon area. But nice, solid grip. I can feel the pod clip because, of course, it is a little bit proud of the knife because it's a loop over stop deep carry clip. I can feel it. It's not causing much of a discomfort or anything like that. Yes, if I'm going to like death squeeze this knife and like really be just gripping this for a very long time in a very hard manner, yeah, it's going to irritate my hand, but normal just EDC use, not going to cause an issue whatsoever. The micarta is really nicely done. Vosteed does a good job with their micarta wherever they get it from. It's always really high quality for what you're paying for it. It's not like that super dry, like gross micarta, and it's not that overly saturated micarta either, excuse me. Has a little bit of contouring around it, so it's nicely rounded and everything like that, right where you need it to be. Yeah, of course, the clip is reversible, so you got to take that into account if you're lefty or righty. Now, of course, you do have this nice, I'm going to say it's like a 60-40, not a true 50-50 choil, but you can choke up. Very, very comfortable. Of course, middle finger goes here into this nice natural restriction point. And overall, it's a very simple design. I mean, you have pretty much a straight line the whole way back till you get to this curvature point. Straight line up here until you get to this, recessed indentation there for your finger. But middle finger goes in here into the indentation. Your other 2 fingers follow suit. Pointer finger wrapped around the choil. And then this is where your thumb gets really nice right into that little ramp area of the harpoon shape on the top of the blade. And this is a very, very comfortable grip for push cuts. You have a very good control over what you're doing with this blade, which I really, really like. And it's a small blade, 3 inches, small knife overall. So really having this, this is such a usable blade shape too, which is a nice, straight, very sharp blade edge, of course. You have a lot of maneuverability with it, a lot of cutability with it. And this is really where the real winner is for me. Just choked up, you get off of that pot clip a little bit more so you feel it even less. And this is just really good. And saber grip, of course, you can do hammer grip. Not utilizing the choil, but pinch grip works really good with this knife because you have such a low tip. Just drop it through, tape on Amazon packages, cutting through letters, mail, anything like that. Ergos are getting a 5 out of 5 for me. Very, very comfortable knife. Next up is carry. Now, it's a small knife, guys. It's about a 4, what did I say it was? Closed. Handle length is 4.16 inches, so just over 4 inches closed. It's very, very simple carry. Loop over style deep carry clip. You have the clip recessed into the scale with countersunk screws, so you have nothing to catch your pocket on. Drop it down in. You do have a little bit sticking up out of the knife. That kind of bugs me a little bit. I don't know why they couldn't have maybe moved the pot clip up a little bit, or somehow utilized and maybe done something in the design process to have this body screw be a part of the pot clip for just, I feel like they really could have done something different with that just to get that added deep carriedness to it. Because when you have a loop over style deep carry clip and you have about that much sticking about your pocket, it's not the end of the world by any means. Like I'm being very nitpicky here, but that's just kind of something that I caught on to, and I was like, you know what? It would have been really nice if they could have utilized that body screw, moved it over a little bit, and had pretty much a true deep carry-ness to it. But nonetheless, it carries very, very well. It's about 3.5 ounces. Small knife. I mean, it can pretty much disappear into my fist for the most part. It sits down in. You have no jimping, no flipper tab or anything like that to risk catching on your hand if you're going beside it to, get something up out of your pocket. I carried this predominantly in gym shorts and khaki shorts in and out, whether that be mounted on a pocket on my khakis and bird dogs or just free floating in a pair of gym shorts. No issues whatsoever. Again, it's small, compact, lightweight, pretty much the perfect carry for me. And again, you can switch the pocket clip over. So if you are lefty or righty, it'll do whatever you need it to do very, very well. So easy 5 on the carryability of this knife. And that leads me to my final category of price point / value / would I recommend this knife. So I'm leaving a link directly to Vosteed's website down below. All 4 models are currently in stock on there, and they all come in at the price point of $72, which I think Vosteed has really, as much as I love their higher end knives, like specifically the Dachshund, and I'm going to get to check out the Cypop, I think, and another Lefty passaround package he put together for us. So I'm really excited about that one. So as much as I love their higher end models, which I think they do a really good job with, I think Vosteed has really sort of, cut out a niche for them in the community for just killing the market from $50 to $100. I think that they have, I'm not going to say that they're the best, there is out there, but I think they're definitely on the top of their game. They're definitely one of the best budget brands you can get right now for the price, for materials that you're getting, for action, carryability, cuttability, everything put together when you're looking for a good budget knife in the $50 to $100 range. Vosteed, I think, is definitely, probably one of the top 2 or 3 brands you come across. Because for $72, I mean, you're getting a really nicely done crossbar lock that has a decent detent, and you're not getting the days of the mushiness for crossbar style lock knives is definitely, I think, over. Coming in the last year or 2, crossbar lock knives have definitely upped their game with Kaiser, Hogue, Vosteed. A lot of budget brands just really have been doing well with them, better than Benchmade in my opinion. But you're getting a well done lock, you're getting a ambidextrous carry with a loop over style deep carry clip, nice micarta, just an absolute beautiful blade shape. 14C28N is probably one of my top 3 steels. I love this steel. It's very, very good for anything sub $100. Just a beautiful blade shape, thumb disc. So, take that or leave it, I guess, how you please. 4 different, scale, or technically 4 different variant options, 3 micarta options, 1 G10 option. Great ergos, absolutely awesome to carry. But for $72, I didn't leave a link to White Mountain Knives because I just like sending you guys directly to Vosteed's website or to company's website. But if you guys can find it on like White Mountain and get 10% off, that'll get you down into the $60 range. I just think it's a great value. I think Vosteed continues to put out great values and great values. It's not like a Walmart advertisement, but just a great knife all around, and I can't recommend this enough. If you guys like the way this looks, you guys are going to love this knife. Just a super good carry, super good little slicey blade. And yeah, so let me count up my score here for you guys. It's going to be pretty positive, I think. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty, guys, so I have the Vosteed Talarurus coming in at 33, which lands it in the fantastic category. I think that, Vosteed has really, I don't want to repeat myself, but they have come to really make a killing on a lot of their budget models. They just released one called the Acorn, which I need to get before the promo goes over on Amazon. It's like $50 on there, but you can get it with like a 20% off coupon code, so it takes it down to like $39, and it pretty much has all the same materials as this. 14C micarta, has a hole for deployment with a front flipper on a liner lock. So I really need to get that one in to check it out. But that just furthers my point of Vosteed creating budget bangers, and I think the Talarurus is definitely right up there. Let me see here. I want to see how many. So the Vosteed Raccoon aluminum crossbar. You have the Vosteed Ankylo. You have the Vosteed Thornton. And you have now the Vosteed Talarurus. So that is 4 knives that have landed in the fantastic category, of course, with the Dachshund being a perfect, my only perfect knife so far. So that just goes to show how much highly I regard Vosteed as a company. I don't know if any made, the Mini Nightshade made a great in the great category. I don't think anything is going to be much lower than that. So yeah, I've reviewed, what, 6 Vosteed knives so far, and I've come to really, really enjoy all of them so far. And the Talarurus is definitely up there as well. So, but I'm going to wrap this up. I've taken up enough of your guys' time. Leave a comment down below. Did you guys pick up the Talarurus when they dropped? Are you looking at getting one? If you are, I don't think you're going to regret it. But yeah, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So, but I'm going to wrap this up now. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, night, day, whenever you guys are watching this. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.